Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Untitled Chapter viewers. Before we get into the main part of this video about iOS 12, I want to let you guys know that you guys can now order your iPhone 10 SIM-free without being tied to a carrier. This is the new option that just basically appeared, and of course you can go through and you won't be tied to a carrier. So I would do that if you're not sure who you're going to go with. It should be the same model as the Verizon and Sprint one, because that has support for all four of the carriers. If you buy T-Mobile or AT&T, you'll only be able to use it on those two. You won't be able to use it on these two. So if you buy it without a carrier, these are all three basically the same. This one's just if you don't have a carrier for Verizon or Sprint, this is the one to get. So check that out. If you're looking for the iPhone 10 SIM free, you can now do that. All right, so on to the main part of this video. I want to go over iOS 12. This is a wish list compiled by 9to5Mac, and I kind of want to go over it, give you my thoughts on it, and we'll see what you guys think as well, because for any of these, just pause the video, drop a comment down below on what you guys think of it. By far, the main thing here that people want, it looks like, is a new design. So if you guys remember back to the iOS 6 days, iOS looked a lot different than iOS 7. It was a huge jump, and it's about time for iOS to kind of get another leap forward. The design is a little old for iOS 11. I know they tweaked things, but I do agree with this. I think a new, fresh design would be nice and much appreciated. Next up, dark mode. Come on, we have to have it, Apple. Add a real dark mode. Just do it. I think that will come in iOS 12. Lock with Touch ID or Face ID. Well, obviously it's going to be Face ID, but basically this is for apps, app-specific locking. I think locking specific apps makes sense. I think it's easy now. I mean, if you've got Touch ID and Face ID, I think it makes sense. It's just easy and it secures your stuff. So I do agree with this one. Of course, improvements, very much welcomed. New notifications. Now this is something that everyone seems to bitch about, and I just got demonetized again. All right, but for real, everyone complains about the notifications on iOS, and honestly, I see it, but I don't have that big of a beef with notifications. I think it works fine, but a lot of people want them grouped, kind of like this, and that does make sense as well. It's a little too Android-y for me, but I think in this application, it makes sense. So I think if Apple puts their own spin on it and does it right, I think it would look and actually work really well. So new notifications, I'm on board with that if they did it. Split view on iPhone, don't really care about this at all, but I guess it would be a neat feature. Volume HUD, oh my gosh, yes, please just change it. Stop putting it in the middle of everything. Just put it at the top, just a tiny little bar like they do in Snapchat and Instagram. Just do that. Like when I'm trying to play Rules of Survival and it's freaking getting intense and I need to turn up that volume, and I press the volume up button and the freaking volume HUD just pops up right in the middle. Really don't need that obstructing my view in that game. So yeah, please, Apple, change the volume HUD. Just make it simple up at the top, something uniform all across iOS. This one, very, very much welcomed. Next up, new wallpapers. Who really cares? I'll take it or leave it, but I think they'll do it. New app icons. This is part of the redesign. Yes, Apple, please do it. Group FaceTime. Oh my gosh, why isn't this part of FaceTime yet? This really should be part of it. I mean, come on, it's 2017. Add group FaceTime. I think this will come to iOS 12. I think it would be awesome if it did. I would be disappointed if it doesn't. Let's just put it that way. Control center. I don't know about this. I think it's fine. So whatever. If they improve it, cool, but not a big deal for me. Camera settings. Yes. Put the fucking, oh my gosh, I just got demonetized again. Can I get twice demonetized and then it monetizes my videos? But for real, put the camera settings in the camera app. What's so hard about that, Apple? Seriously, it just makes sense. I thought Apple was supposed to be simplistic, and you guys fucking put it in the settings app. I have to go all the way to settings, scroll down to camera, scroll down into the menus, and try to find exactly what I want there, when it could just be a tiny little sub menu in the camera. Seriously, Apple, add this shit. Widgets on the home screen. Yeah, everyone has always asked for this pretty much. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't really care if it happens. I don't see that big of a deal of it, but the clock icon actually moves, and maybe if they did that with the weather, that would be okay, but I don't really care about cluttering my screen with widgets, so this is not that big of a deal for me. One more thing. Yes, we have one more thing. Our last wish for iOS 12 is an always on screen, both on iPhone and iPad. I get it, but I just don't see it being that big of a deal. Honestly, I think it would be cool to have it as an option. Probably wouldn't use it. It is a little bit of a drain on battery, very slight, with the OLED screen. And it also could produce burn-in unless they like shifted the pixels a lot, but honestly, not that big of a deal to me. And that is pretty much it So let me know what you guys think of these ideas for iOS 12. I think they're all pretty decent for the most part. There are a lot of little changes that Apple could make that would go a long way, like the volume HUD, the notifications for a lot of people, group FaceTime. Those are things that aren't huge, but would just make things nicer. Locking apps, dark mode. So I think iOS 12 is going to be a great leap forward for Apple if they can implement a lot of these things and maybe put their own spin on it and add in some features that we haven't even thought of yet, because that's what Apple likes to do. They like to innovate, and I think iOS 12 will be nice. So let me know your thoughts on this down below, what you guys think of these improvements, if you think they're actually going to come to iOS 12. Again, I think a lot of these are really cool ideas, but we'll have to see what iOS 12 brings. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you liked it, hit it with a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.